Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BWG Game Club. I'm your host, Peter, with my friends, Johnny Bag of Donuts.
Hey, everybody.
And the dark-skinned Deku, Devon.
Oh, I'm gonna bite my thumb. I'm gonna break my thumb. Sorry.
I was like, why are you biting your thumb? You're not.
I'm gonna break my thumb. Sorry. He hurts himself to also release his powers. So I was thinking Aaron Yeager.
I don't get
Deku.
any of these references, people.
So, sorry. It's all good.
I don't know.
What's up, peoples?
My Hero Academia. Go watch it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
All for one.
And one for all. What is BWG Game Club? It is a podcast where we pick a game, we play that game week by week, and each week we get together in a podcast such as this and talk about the section we played. This time around, we are playing Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Ooh.
This is episode 2, so let's do a little recap of what happened last week. Senua had to go to Helheim, and she had to fight her way into Helheim to save her beloved Dillion, because Dillion is dead. Of course, she couldn't get into Helheim that easily. She had to take out two gods, and those were Valraven and Surt. So we did that. We killed them. This time around, we had to play through two sections, the Bridge to Hell and Shipwreck Shore. Guys, it's that time where you tell me, in general words, well, in general thoughts, I should say, what you thought of the section. General words is a weird saying. In general words, tell me what you think.
In general words.
In general words. In broad thoughts. In broad phrases. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but go ahead.
General Kenobi. Go ahead, John.
I like this game, and I am continuing to like this game.
Wow. That's about as general as you can go. I would say I am also liking this game, and I'm also looking forward to playing more of this game.
We were as general could be. General Kenobi
This section
would be
did
proud.
not change my feelings from last time.
At
Let's
all.
just say that.
Even though I will say, there was not much combat to this section.
It was a short section, but
still,
a lot happened.
Yeah, a lot
Yes.
happened. It was very thought provoking too, as well.
I think you want to say it was still very engaging, even though it
Yes.
wasn't
Kept my
focused on
attention.
fighting.
Right.
I agree with you guys. I also like this game. I'm looking forward to playing more. And this section definitely opens your eyes to the history of Senua and why she's doing what she's doing. So let's dive in and get into more specifics on why she's doing what she's doing.
I'm glad we all generally agreed. That's good. That's good.
The way the section starts off, if we continued where we left off last time, it's in Surt's arena, and you have to run all the way back to the gate of Helheim. You have to open the gate, go through, and then you start off the bridge to Hell. But I did something a little different because Devon brought up a little scene/dialogue that we missed. Well, John and I missed last time. So I made the trek all the way back to that glowing circle that I did not see.
Senua, you have the sight, just like I do. Once you can see into the underworld and all the souls within it will see you. Don't be afraid when they speak to you. I will always be here to guide you. Did you see her? That was her mother, Galena. She was a priestess, a healer. She taught Senua to see the weave that binds the world together. And it was beautiful. It was a time before the darkness. But when it did come, it first came for her mother.
Belina, Senua's mother, we were introduced to. Finding that means that you can find the face of Senua's mother throughout the different environments. It's kind of like a collectible. These are hidden throughout the areas, and you can find them, and you learn even more about Senua's past.
It's funny because I didn't do that one like you didn't do that one, but I found another face later on in this section, and if Devon didn't do it and didn't tell us that it was the mom, it gives no reference of it being her mother. So just this talking face. I was like, this would have been weird if I didn't know, but
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, I found another one. Let's I guess it's something that's gonna be popping up.
I was actually curious about that because I wasn't sure if when you find the first one, like that's the first recording that you're gonna
Right.
get. Not so much a recording, but
Right.
the first
Right.
vision of Senua's mother that you'll get.
Right.
It's weird that now I know if you find the third one, you're getting the third vision,
Right.
and you'll have, like you said, no context as to who that is or why they're talking to you.
Right. Well, it's kind of like the stones you find that end up telling the stories, and you can miss a story,
Yep.
like a portion of the story, which is kind of weird because it looks like it's broken into sections, and each section tells a complete story of what it's trying to explain. So if you miss a portion of that, you could kind of potentially be a little lost of what's going on.
Which is annoying because I missed a couple, and I'm like, man, because when you go up to the stones, it shows your progress of which ones you've
Yeah.
gotten and which ones you missed.
Mhm.
So I've missed a couple, and I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
Well, right after I missed the first one, I was like, well, fuck it. I don't need to, break my back, trying to get these things. I said, if I've already missed it, it's fine. But I actually enjoyed the story of the one that we kind of experienced throughout this portion of the
Yeah,
section.
later on,
It was
I know
cool.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I
We'll be
was like,
talking
that's
about
really
that a little
cool.
more later. Yeah, definitely. After the introduction to Senua's mother, or after the boss fight with Cert, you run back to the main area, and we get to push open the gate to hell. That's right, we're going to cross the bridge that only the dead are allowed to cross.
Yes.
It's our turn. Our turn. We fought to make it here, and we're going to cross that damn bridge. Senua pushes open the door and walks into darkness. Complete darkness. You can't see a thing. We can't see a thing. All we can see is Senua's face. And if you notice, she doesn't have her war paint on. So
Yep.
this is a flashback. We are in her mind, and we are seeing her past. And guys, this next cutscene, whoo! What a way to start off.
It's a doozy.
It's 6 callers ahead of us. Tell you what.
Truth? Anyone?
There is no one here but me.
Not you.
Did you think that I would let you go? That you lost me back in the wilds? I will never let you go. You can't get rid of me. I am your shadow. And I will be watching when you draw your last dying gasp.
I'm not ready to die.
You will be when you see what they did to your dear beloved.
Dillion!
Oh my god, dude.
In the scene when this is happening, she is looking around and there are burning bodies all around her. You can't really see, only certain areas of the location are available to see, but you can tell that there's carnage that has happened. What's happening right now is Senua has arrived back in her home village. This is after she left to go get rid of the darkness in her, which, hello darkness, my old friend.
Yep.
Darkness does not seem like a very nice guy. He's over
No.
here, hello. Just, you thought you
By order, the piggy brother.
Oh, when that voice first kicked off,
Mhm.
I was instantly like butthole clenched up. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is
It's
that?
creepy, dude.
I think
It's
I think I got more perked up right in my chair. So like I had my controller kind of like this, and I was just like playing, and all of a sudden it came up, and I was like, hold on.
Yeah, it's definitely like intimidating and
Oh, yeah.
creepy at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
I don't want to see what this thing is. I don't want to hear what it is. Never mind, fucking see it.
Exactly.
So
At the end of the last section, we lost Druth.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he kind of had his exit moment where he said, I've helped you complete these tasks. You've got this. Go on. When the darkness started talking to you, I was sitting there thinking, Truth, come back. Come back. I'd rather listen to you. Please come back.
Please
Don't
come back.
leave. If you don't remember, or if you're just joining us, in the previous section, there was a scene before you fought Cert where Senua was talking to her love, Dillion. And she told Dillion, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do this thing. You weren't really sure what she was talking about. Dillion said, hey, let me help you. We fight together. We can fight it together. And she tells him, no, this is something I have to fight on my own. This is my own battle. So you imagine that it must be her inner demons, her mental issues that she wants to combat by herself. She thinks she got rid of it. But when she comes back, as the darkness has told her, you thought you got rid of me in the wilds.
Snap right back.
Did not happen.
Let me throw something out that just kind of came to me here.
Come on, yes, please do it because
Go for it.
I'm in your head right now.
Some deadly premonition. What
Yes.
if?
Yes, exactly. This is where I'm at, John. Come on, baby. Come.
I know she's one person, but what if she did this to everybody?
Oh.
Whoa.
I think that was farther than deadly premonition because that's
What if
not
she
where I was going
like
at all.
killed her true love? She murdered everyone in her little
You
town.
think she's got multiple personality disorder?
Well, I mean, she goes out into the forest and this thing fucking this darkness takes over. She returns without even knowing, just kills everyone, goes back into the forest, comes out of it, returns back to the town, doesn't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but they do reference a little bit later on of her being like a great warrior, and she is kicking the shit out of all these things here.
Oh no!
Oh man.
I don't know. I don't know.
I wasn't going along those lines at all. Not what I was thinking at all.
That would be so dark.
I'm here for it though.
It would
Wow.
be super dark, dude. Why? I mean, she has his head.
Let's find out how she gets it. Let's find out how she gets the head. Phrasing.
In this waking nightmare, where all dreams come true, you searched for control, a way to pull through. When you were in love, you left him in tears, to smother your furies and banish your fears. But in darkness they came, through stormy black seas they raided these shores. Do you still hear his screams? And now that you're home, he's so far away. They've taken his soul. To these gods you cannot pray. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through his darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. You fought for love unspoilt by your darkness within. You fought for your dreams. Now there's no way to win. In the head of his corpse lies the seat of his soul. So you must carry his vessel to bring him back home. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through this darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart.
Dude, I feel like I was watching that by myself. Like, I was ready to cry, dude. Like, I was literally ready to just, like, tears start rolling, bro. The shit is so emotional, and she
Gets
just...
in the feels, man.
It does
It
get you in the
does.
feels, man. She
Shit.
just...
It does. Let's describe what the scene is for our listeners. While the darkness is talking to Senua, she is walking up the path toward Dillion. But the way the camera is, we're staring directly at Senua. She's walking toward us the entire time, so we don't know what Dillion looks like. Not until she makes it up there, and the camera pans around, goes to her back, and then she falls to her knees. We can finally see Dillion, and Dillion is strung up.
Little worse for wear.
Little worse for wear. He is strung up, hands
turkey.
tied, almost in the vein of a crucifix.
Right.
Strung up like that. But what makes it even worse is that the flesh from his back has been torn out. So think of like a spider with 8 legs. Imagine your flesh being stretched out in 8 different ways from your back.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever watched the show Vikings, but in the show they have this torture / execution called the Blood Eagle. And if you know what I'm talking about, you have the perfect image for what Dillion looks like, except he's just hanging while that has happened. It is absolutely brutal. And the first time I saw it, I just thought, I'm surprised she didn't have a complete mental lapse at that moment. I'm surprised that she even thought to go on this journey.
Right.
Just
Well,
because
there's also,
anyone
like,
walking on that would just lose their mind.
I mean, he's missing like portions of his torso. His leg is
His foot.
cut off. You know,
Yep.
it looked like his toes on his other foot were cut off. Like, it's a brutal death. And like you said, it's terrifying and just heart-wrenching for her. The scene is just so perfectly played out, both acting and the music adding to it. And like, it's with that all going on, you have the voiceover of the darkness talking, which he's saying some pretty fucking poetic shit as he's going on. And it's like, dude, it's so skillfully done. And I loved every second of it.
It's cool because he's taken kind of like a shift, right? Because at first he's like, you couldn't get rid of me, blah, blah, blah. Like, he sounded angry and mad, and now he's all poetic and saying, pretty much telling her what she needs to do. Right?
Yeah.
This is what you need to go do. So now he plays both like friend and foe. It's beautifully done. It's great.
It makes me wonder what the darkness
Want.
has in mind. What do you
Right.
want? Are you
Right.
just trying to draw her to the edge of insanity and then finally get rid of her? What is the goal? Because like you said, at first he yelled at her saying, "You're never going to get rid of me." And then he's saying, "They killed your love. The only way you can save him is to save his soul, which you have to bring the vessel, his head,
Mhm.
to hell."
Pretty fucking dope.
Just watching that for a second time, like, I want to watch it again. It's great. Oh,
So good.
man.
Like you said, masterfully done, and hearing her cries of pain as the different voices in her head tell her it's her fault.
Yeah.
Which, John, I swear, if you're right,
It just hit me. I don't know.
That'd be crazy, dude.
man, makes you feel for Senua, and you just think,
Mhm.
oh no, I don't want these bad things to happen to you.
I'm so glad she won because the
Best actress is what he's talking about, by the way. I mean,
Yes.
best actor in a video game, best
Yes.
performance.
100% deserved. Like, the range that she's shown in just these 2 sections is outrageous. Like, she goes from being absolutely crazy looking, she can be horrified, she can be terrified, she can be just childlike, she can go to being like in the matter of literally seconds, just like completely straight faced to absolutely crazy. And it's just, it doesn't feel forced. It feels completely natural. I've never felt and I don't, not in a way of knowing what she's going through or anything, but I've never felt connected with a main character player so quickly. I'm just like, dude, like, what is going on? I want her to be fine. Like, I want her to get through this whole thing. Like, I feel bad for her. She just seems like she's tortured.
Melina Jurgens.
Shout out to her.
name.
Shout out to her. Props.
Melina
Nothing but
Jurgens.
respect.
Nothing but respect. Kills it.
Plus the fact that she wasn't an actress before this. She
Yeah.
was just a part of the team.
Yeah.
She worked for Ninja Theory.
Worked for Ninja Theory.
That's fucking crazy.
And,
That's so crazy.
someone in there just said, you know what? You look like you'd be perfect for this.
Speaking of her going from panicked to straight-faced in a matter of seconds, let's continue the cutscene. Because she does exactly that.
The darkness touched you. Everyone could see it in the hollows of your eyes. A gaze averted from life. You ran from it but brought it nearer. Led it to him. An endless suffering worse than death. And you wanted to surrender. Abandon and to find peace with the gods. No. The darkness won't allow it. So you will walk into the lair of the beast. Look it in the eye, and you will go to war. This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left.
She's a badass, bro. She just looks so badass.
So cool. She is so cool. That scene, she is just standing there, staring into the camera with such an ominous look that all you can do is sit there and cheer for her. You're just thinking, yeah, I stand with her. Straight up Braveheart. Like, they may take our Dillions, but they'll never take our freedom.
But it's slightly creepy too at the same time. She's got these like dead eyes that are just staring at you.
She's got a mean mug, bro.
I had flashes of like
took
Heath
my
Ledger
lunch money.
Joker in that moment when I was paying back. I was like, whoa. It's like, damn. Fucking crazy, dude.
It definitely shows that her mental state is
all over the place. She is battling a whole lot, but she still pushes on through. We have finally made it to the bridge section, and we are walking into some gameplay. Literally, we get to walk across the bridge. But while we do that, we will have to fight some enemies. This section right here is super cool for several reasons. While you walk down, enemies start spawning on the bridge, and you have to take them out. Right now, it's sunset. You can see the sun's reflection shining off of the water. But as you progress on the bridge, it changes to a storm, and it just becomes dark, and the waves are crashing. You can see them going above the bridge on the sides, but not ever crossing over, which is really cool. It just adds to that supernatural element. And the music, the soundtrack. While you walk this bridge, I did not run across this bridge for the most part. Across this first section, I walked because the music played, and I just felt like such a badass. After her staring into the camera, and then you just get to start moving across the bridge, I just pushed the control stick forward, pushed that joystick forward, and I said, oh yeah, whatever's coming, let's do it.
The gods made you a warrior for a reason. It's your calling.
Just the drums, and then you hear the chanting. Oh man,
so
I'm a
good.
huge fan of Norse mythology, and
Same.
And I love just the idea behind the culture of Vikings and Celtic mythology as well. This just encapsulates it so perfectly, and it does so with that supernatural vibe, as opposed to, just being in a normal Anglo-Saxon era. It's going, no, we're here. You're going to find Hela. You're going to find Sir. You're going to find Valraven. You're going to have to deal with all of it. It's coming at you.
To me, this is a reintroduction to fighting, because it's been a little bit since I played the first section, I was like, I remember the fighting was pretty simple, and then I was like, up. I was just getting hit at first. I was like, hold on a second, I need to just get a little refresher. So it was nice to dabble back into it. But I was kicking people into the water. I was like off the bridge. It was cool. It's definitely a fun little section on the bridge.
I'm definitely there with you because the shield guy threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
I almost died with him. By the way, I still haven't died. Almost. Almost died with the shield guy though. He definitely threw me for a loop. I was like, oh dear God, but managed to come back from it.
I think, like you said in the beginning, what's cool is the music and just the tonal shift of the game, the background, like you said, the scenery changing as you're fighting. It just adds to your environment that you're in. It adds to her attitude.
After the first part of the bridge, you walk to the door and you open it, and Senua gets clocked in the dome piece.
I jumped.
I jumped too, and I felt so worried for Senua. I was like, "Oh no!" But I bring that up because we get introduced to a new enemy. It's a big old MF.
I was so confused because I was like, "Is this a boss right now? This dude's huge!" And then I was like, "No, it's not."
Let's describe what this new enemy looks like.
The super shredder of the smaller guys, basically. He looks just like he's got a fucking a mask that's like looks like it has squid tentacles kind of coming up from the back of it.
Yep.
It's almost like one of those crazy enemies from Gears of War. They have like the crazy dreadlock things, right? The ones that like carry the staffs.
Yeah.
Yes. He's got a cape, but it's made out of like animal hide.
Yeah. And he's just fucking jacked as shit. He's got a huge giant axe.
Although, kind of a punk bitch, not gonna lie.
Yeah. He was not hard.
He's so slow. And I heard the voices even say that when I would dodge his attacks and start attacking from the side. The voices would say, "Oh, he's too slow," or something like that.
What's really cool, and I don't know if any of you did it in this fight, I was standing near the wall, and when he charges at you, if he runs into the wall, he gets stunned. And he just stands there for like 15 seconds. So you just sit there and you just wallop on him.
Oh, damn.
I did not do that.
He
did
a lot of by accident.
He did a lot of his generic attacks where it's just like a downward axe strike. And it's so telegraphed and slow that you can literally just sidestep it.
Exactly.
And start hitting him. It wasn't hard.
Once you take him out, you have to fight some more enemies. And then we get into a little brief puzzle section. Some of the same things that we have seen over and over again. This time we got to find 3 symbols to open up the door. They're actually not that hard to find. But did you guys know that there is another face to find in this area?
Nope.
Did you guys miss it?
Yep. I even got stuck on the puzzle, to be honest with you.
Oh, did you? Tell me about you trying to solve the puzzle.
So I'm trying to solve the puzzle, and as we know, the symbols, when they pop up, you have to find the symbols, and as you get closer to the symbols, the little smaller symbols pop up letting you know, hey, you're close. So here I am. I'm trying to find these symbols, and I found one of them, which was an X, I believe, very easily. So then the other 2 I'm looking for, and I'm like, man, I cannot find these. I'm like, okay, maybe if I go down on the boat. So I go down on the boat. I'm like, nope, nowhere here. But what was happening on the boat was it was like sparkling, shimmering, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I have no idea what this is. So I get off the boat. I'm walking around. I'm like, how do I get up there, dude? There's like a top level that you can go up, but the stairs are broken. And I'm like, how do I get up there? So I'm like, this is messed up. Happened by accident. I literally stood on the boat. I zoomed in, focused. Boop, here comes some stairs. And I was like, hey, look at that. Just look at it. And I got through it. It took me like 10, 15 minutes to figure it out, man.
Devon, I seriously thought the symbol was on the boat. So when I got down there and I had to focus, it showed me the stairs. And I remember looking at the stairs as you focused in on them. And I just thought, I don't remember those being there. Were those there? I guess I go up. I don't know. Okay. Well, all right, here we go.
I literally watched them pop up and I said, wow, it's that easy, huh? Great. Cool. Awesome.
When you go up those stairs, Devon and John, there's the first level with the stairs. Climb up second level. There's a symbol there. There's a third level that you can climb up on, like kind of like a little watchtower area. That's where you find that third symbol. When you climb back onto the second, you see there's a window there. And when you walk out, there's a ledge that you can turn to the left and you can shimmy across. And when you do, you find Senua's mom right on top of the roof.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, whoa. So, oh, wow. So she's not even on, like, just in rocks or stones. She could be anywhere.
She can be anywhere. This is what taught me that
shit.
she can be anywhere, and you have to keep your eyes out.
Oh, Senua. Your father does not hate me. He just fears the souls in the underworld. He cannot see that they are already afraid. But I am their healer, and I must answer their cries for help, even if it displeases him.
I do like the effect that they use on the face of Snow's mom. It's like they do almost like it's like a stabilizer effect on like the very center of it. So any like head movement she has, it's still centered, but it just like makes it all like weird and wavy. Like if you look at the I think it's the AirPod commercials where they do like the stabilizer in the AirPod, it has that same like effect, but it's just on the center of the face.
Yep.
It's really cool. Like it's very effective.
Yeah, and they have the actual person behind the structure, behind the outline of the face in whatever, it could be the rocks or whatever the environment is. They have this actual human face talking behind it, almost like the opacity is set down to like 50.
Right. And you can't like make out the face fully, you know, but you can definitely tell, like you said, it's a human face behind whatever the structure is. It's cool.
I didn't mention that there was another one, but we had talked about it last time. That there was that one behind the waterfall, and I did find that. I did go back and grab that one too. It's a face.
I'm mad that I went there. I literally looked at the face and didn't focus on it, and I just like, oh, cool. There's like a little head in the waterfall.
I'm pretty sure in the waterfall one, that's when she talks about her father.
Yes. The one with the waterfall is where she does talk about her father. That's why in this one you learn a little bit more about the father's dislike of their ability. The puzzle has been solved. With all three symbols found, we can push open the door and continue along the bridge. But this time, the bridge is a little more busted up than before. It's almost like this thing could collapse at any moment. I did want to say that I noticed at this point, this is a bridge that only the dead can cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are the dead? I don't see any dead crossing it.
Because they crossed. They're already across it.
People are dying all the time.
Every day, John.
There's bodies stuck up on the.
But they're stuck
I know
up.
that, but they're not crossing. Like those are just bodies. I was thinking maybe it's because Senua was alive that she can't see the dead actually crossing. That's how I justified it.
She's perceiving the bridge a different way than the dead would perceive.
Why do you think that it's a shared bridge and not just a bridge for every single person, a soul bridge for everybody?
Well, if she could see the dead, then she'd be dead.
But I'm saying, why do you think that all the other dead would see each other and not just travel the bridge alone?
I'm just thinking of Greek.
You get to heaven, that's where everybody. I'm
also thinking of God of War because they definitely showed the bridge to hell in God of War, and you could see all the souls, and you could run by them.
I'm just being an asshole. That's being contrarian right now. So
Kratos showed me it. Okay.
Boy.
When you make it to the end of the bridge, we get a cutscene of epic proportions.
A cutscene that would shame most cutscenes.
I don't like to use that word too often, but the reveal in this cutscene definitely threw me off, and I thought, holy shit, I am not ready for this.
Yeah. I was definitely in what the fuck is going on here?
The gate is opening.
Who is it? It's coming.
That song again.
Is it?
It's Hela.
Yes, the source of the darkness. It's coming. This is your moment.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're not a warrior. You're a disgrace. The gods will punish you for this. Pick up the sword. Pick it up. Fight the darkness. Fight it. Get up. Get up. Get up and fight.
Senua is staring at the gate at the end of the bridge, and suddenly, dark clouds and smoke start forming over it. She instantly becomes terrified. A bald head just comes out of that darkness, and it's giant. This thing is towering over Senua. She drops her sword and falls down to the bridge. She cannot move. She is terrified. This thing is Hela. You can hear the voices yelling, "It's Hela, it's her, blah, 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 blah." And Hela is crawling her giant ass over to Senua. And the darkness is saying, "Fight. Do it now. Pick up the sword. Pick up the sword." When Senua finally does build up the courage to fight, she picks up the sword and swings it at Hela. She does make contact, but it doesn't matter.
Hela made contact.
Yeah, Hela smacked the shit out of that.
She smacked the hell out of her.
Broke the sword. Senua falls into the waters below. What did you guys think of Hela?
Definitely creepy.
It was like half of her face was cracked or burned or scarred. Everything, like all of that in one. It almost looked like her head was a doll head when it came out at first.
She looked like Snoke.
I mean, not far off.
I was saying, like, I got vibes of like Japanese horror movies, just creeping out of the shadows, and you don't expect it to be what it is. So just the initial sight of it is just off-putting, and then you're like, wow. And Snow's obviously scared. This thing's coming towards you. It was just, it was creepy.
When she attacked Hela and then fell off the bridge, what were you guys thinking? What was going through your heads then?
Said, well, back to the drawing board. No, honestly, I was like, dang, I wonder what now? Because she's obviously the game's not over. So now your sword is broken. Now what you gonna do? Like, what's up now? We gonna knuckle up? Is that how we're gonna do this? We're gonna knuckle up and steal one of the other people's sword? Like, I'm down for it, but it's just like, okay, what's gonna happen now?
Well, I was like, great, this is probably going to be a future boss that we just learned how heavy of a hitter this thing is, and how we thought we were badass this whole time, and here it is just going, nah, get away. It just backhands you into the fucking water.
Shoe fly.
I didn't even think of that, John. We started off at the beginning of this bridge thinking, yeah, we're badasses, and we got humbled real quick.
Yep. Real quick. Real quick.
Slapped, dude. Slapped around.
Thankfully, Senua is still alive, which means the game goes on. However, she's not doing all that well.
Stormy seas and lost souls.
She's dreamt of this before. They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts, and fears, as seen by our inner eye. But what if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake, and we only see what our inner eye creates for us? Is this what Hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares. Maybe that's why people feared seeing the world through her eyes.
Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted,
You must accept
that yours might be too.
You failed the gods. You're pathetic. Rotten. Cursed. What were you thinking? Did you really think you could win? How stupid can you be?
so stupid.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
The shadow hates.
Look at you. A warrior. Worthless. Weak. Pathetic. Go on. Feel sorry for yourself, because there's no one left to do that for you.
Everywhere. You failed. What's that?
Take it. If you're too much of a coward to fight, then end the suffering. Broken and lost. Just like your sword.
Come on. Dare.
The good ones just keep on coming this section.
Oh yeah.
It's just some good shit, dude. Just
Senua appears to be in a cave-like area, and she is obviously wounded. She has a giant gash from her forehead to the side of her face. She is looking into the mirror, and you hear the darkness talking. But when the camera pans around, you see that she's talking to herself. Like the darkness is talking through her, and the voices start going along saying, "You stupid, you're worthless, you're pathetic.
they're
Just
laughing at
end
her.
it." She picks up her broken piece of the sword. It's been sitting in the fire. And that's when the voices are all telling her, just end it. End the pain, end the suffering. But she uses that blade to close the wound.
Cauterize that
Intense.
shit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think the shot of it zooming in, right? And as it pans around to her face and it keeps panning, it just pans out to her looking at the mirror. And it was just so beautifully done. I was just watching it, and I like, if I could rewind it, like if it was a movie, I would have rewound it like 3 times because it was just so good. Oh man, it just goes back to like her fighting her inner demons, right?
Mhm.
Like this dude is just talking to her, saying she's worthless, and then the voices are just chiming in, and it's just great, dude. She's losing it. But even though she's lost it, she still has the will to keep going, which is just incredible. Like, dude, if it was me and I saw that big thing, I'd be like, yep, dude, sorry, Dillion. It's a wrap, bro. I'm going back. I'm going back. to my
I'd
life.
have to watch it again, but I'm pretty sure when it's initially panning around and she's talking with the voice of the darkness, that once it goes through to the mirror and it comes back out, that even though it's still talking, she's not saying anything anymore. Like her mouth's not moving. Part of my what I think is what we just saw there with her actually talking along with it is what's really happening, and her like in real life talking as if she's hearing the voice, but she's just saying it out loud. And then when it goes through the mirror back into where she's not saying anything, that's where we started out, and we're inside her head again almost, and we're hearing it instead of just actually like watching it play out in real time.
Almost like there's 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Like there was the world on the other side of the mirror, and then
Mhm.
there's the world that we're inhabiting.
Right.
And it's the scene starts off like in that world where she's looking into the mirror, and like that's what's looking back at her. That's what's being said to her as she looks at herself.
Mhm.
Almost like that self-doubt that any of us get when you look in the mirror and you say, you suck. You know, you're the worst.
Damn, y'all just blew my mind, bro.
But that's her looking into the mirror. And when we go through, like John said, we're actually just seeing her staring at herself.
Mhm.
And she knows what she has to do. She has to close that wound in order to keep on going. I like it, John.
But I'm thinking it might be reversed though, where like the real version is her actually just like saying the shit that's in her head, and we're hearing it as the darkness, but it's really just her saying it. And then when it goes back to right before she puts the sword on there, is like that's her version of the world, and we don't see her saying everything out loud because she's lost it. I don't know, but I think there's definitely 2 different things that we're seeing, or like an experience, and one's real, one's kind of experiencing what she's maybe going through.
With all that, it would be tough for anyone to continue on. But luckily, Senua finds a little bit of hope, that little light that can help her continue on.
Why go on when you give everything and face that which torments you, only to find that it is worse than you could have imagined. Why go on? Is it really so weak to ask this? Or are we just so afraid of the honest answer that we do not dare pose the question? Sometimes the answer lies in a memory, a feeling, a song.
It's not real. It's a trick. It's not real. It is real. Listen to it.
Don't give up.
Dillion. It's
Not like this.
It's not real. It is real. It's a trick. Don't trust it. Maybe you're already dead.
Who are you?
Do you still believe in me, Shel?
No, it's
Enough.
It's a trick. She knows he's here. It's a trick. He's already dead. He knows he's here. He can't be here. It's impossible.
Dillion.
Come to me. Please.
The light. Go towards the light. It's him. There he is. It can't be him. It's just a trick. It's in your mind. No, he's here. It's in your mind. It's real. It's happening. Go towards it.
She's walking toward the light, folks. Walking toward the light. We are now on Shipwreck Shore. We are on the shore because we got knocked off the bridge. As you know, Hela is not a very nice person. She did not welcome us with open arms.
Bitch.
Slapped us off the bridge, so we're on the shore. Senua finds a reason to get up, and that is Dillion. She hears his voice. She starts to walk toward him. She sees this figure of light, almost dancing with what looks like a blade in the distance. The setting, while still bleak, is also at the same time a little more uplifting than what we've seen elsewhere. It's instead of bodies,
Less bodies.
Yes. Instead of bodies on pikes, it's more destroyed Viking and Celtic ships.
All the bodies washed away.
They crossed the bridge.
Exactly. But you have to walk through this area to get to this tree at the end of it. And that tree is where we could hopefully find Dillion. But you got to remember, the voices keep on telling you it's not real. It's a trick. It's a trap. It can't be real. He's dead. It's him. It's Dillion. But it's not him. But he's dead.
What is that? But when you get close and he disappears, they're like, "Oh, you were too slow." I'm like, "Dude, shut the fuck up." Dude, I was getting pissed. Dude, literally. I'm like so close to him, and then he disappears and they're like, "You were too slow." I literally said to myself, I wish these things would shut the fuck up. Like, just shut up. Well, and it just
I'm
makes
sure
me
that's what
feel-
normal people that
Yeah,
I
hear
know
these things
people
think.
dealing with
That's what I'm saying,
psychosis are
bro.
thinking.
And I feel so bad, bro. I feel for them because I'm like, dude, fuck that shit, man.
Yeah.
I know. I can hardly stand the one voice in my head.
Fat.
It makes
I
you
don't know.
appreciative that you don't have to go through these things.
One reason why I say that this setting is a little more uplifting is the music behind it is definitely inspiring. It's almost hopeful in a way.
Mhm.
And that's what Dillion is to Senua. It's hope. Also, the sun's coming up. Thank God. We're leaving that dark, stormy-filled area. We're walking into the sunlight.
Did you get the head in this area?
Was there a face in this area?
Mm-hmm.
There was
Damn.
Where was the face in this area?
Like where he's up on top of the ships and you have to go to him. If you go around the right side, there's like this little back path area that leads behind some rocks inside the main rock mountain. There's a face there that you can go and do it. And that's where I was like, oh, that's cool looking. You know, I got to actually finally see one of the faces.
Senua has to make her way to this tree at the end of this path. But before we make it to the tree, as Devon said, you see the light, you see the figure of light, and every time you get close to it, it disappears. It's a little farther away until it ends up at the tree. But along the path to that tree, you do learn a little more about Dillion.
There he was, the lone figure of a boy.
He's there. Under the
Saw play under the shade of a tree.
I can see him. There he is.
She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing, and the world danced with him. The gloom lifted, and for the first time in years she felt a ray of hope.
I wasn't lying, see? She even said, felt a ray of hope. That's how Senua first saw Dillion. He was practicing his technique underneath a tree, and she would watch him from afar like a creeper. If it was a dude doing that to a woman, everyone would say, creep. Just saying, double standard.
These are facts.
So why should be on the stair when we're under the tree, right?
Senua would watch Dillion practice underneath that tree, and then she would practice the moves on her own. And as you get closer to the tree, Senua gets transported to a grassy, sunny, beautiful area. This must have been home. This is actually a flashback. This is showing us how she came across Dillion, how they truly met for the first time. That's what this flashback does for us. And it's a very nice flashback. This is where, when John mentioned her acting childish, this is the scene that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, don't mean childish in a bad way. We're meaning childlike, all right? Childlike, not immature.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's like, it's her.
I just had to say that. I don't want people thinking that we're saying that she's being bratty or something like that.
She's a fucking child. Everything that we just said about her being a great character. Child.
What is she following? You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same. See the world through eyes anew. And dance with it, just like he does.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zeno's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one?
Well, I watched you, and...
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
Me?
I'm Dillion. I'm here for the warrior trials. Just come and watch. And bring your sword.
Very happy scene. This is how they met. This is the first conversation they ever had. What do you guys think of this?
I love this scene. I think it's great. The music, along with her performance, because like I said, you know, she's going back to the first time. You know, you're seeing her as an adult, but it's going back to when she was younger, and you can kind of put yourself to like when you talk to your first crush, right, or something. You kind of get brought back to that moment where you're like, you're nervous. She's, you know, apprehensive to talk to him. He's being nice to her, and they're, you know, complimenting her on her fighting skills and everything like that. It's just, you can see the point in where she's like genuinely happy that like she's, you know, talking with him and interacting with him, and it's just like, it's such a well done scene.
Damn it, John. You took what I was gonna say. It's the first time she's like, we're seeing her smile. She's actually happy.
Yeah.
It's a heartwarming scene. It's great. The sun is shining. It takes away from the dark tone of the game, and it's a great scene.
So I'm not gonna lie, this one scene, she's saying her lines as an adult, but obviously she's supposed to be a child. We're hearing his lines as an adult, and I was hoping it's just that they're both having their adult lines being said, and it wasn't like he was much older than her when she came up to him. That creeped me out a little bit for a second. I was like, I'm not going to focus too much on that, but that definitely crept into my mind.
I don't think she was like that much younger. She was probably young, but like I don't think it was like super young.
But
Vikings, man.
I just liked. She talks about him right before here being the ray of hope. She's obviously doing this because she loves him. We've seen interactions before between the two showing that they love each other, but this really just like solidifies in a visual way like how much fondness she has for him and how much that it's connected to her happiness.
It's that little smile she makes when he says, "You should come by tomorrow and bring your sword." And she just has that little smirk and just nods nods her head, and that's where you can sense the happiness. And again, that goes to the graphics and her acting. Like,
True.
Being able to show that emotion, just that smile, you get so much from that little smile. It just totally makes the scene. A little thing.
It's great. And then
I will say to you, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie The Fountain, but right away when I saw this tree, direct link to The Fountain. Where
that's with Hugh Jackman, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So that takes place all around the Tree of Life. I think you can connect it with him being like her essential Tree of Life, reason for living type of situation. Almost, that's her journey to try to bring him back to, to life. There's a lot of, I think, ties you can go back to it, but that's literally like the first thing I saw. I was like, whoa, okay, that symbolism that you could draw from it. But it was, this scene just like was the best part of this game. I thought it was, of this section.
Wow,
I was like, that's really cool. Yeah,
it gives you the warm fuzzies.
Oh yeah,
and then
the Fire Nation attack.
Yeah, then
the Fire Nation attacked.
Oh my god, the fucking switch up, bro.
Hard 180.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who's supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it. And darkness becomes a part of who you are.
You killed him.
But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were. That there's nothing to go back to at all.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me. I can still feel him.
Whatever's left of him, they will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here.
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No.
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up! Dillion? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
By order of the Peaky Blinders, you will die here. Such a great half of the scene, dude. The tonal shifts of this game, man, are just great.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you right back in.
Pull you right back in.
It's so good.
This was the moment where I thought, Truth, please come back.
I miss you.
Please. I miss Senua having that companion that she felt comfortable with. This guy, this darkness dude, he's an asshole.
He keeps referencing their gods, and I don't know who he's necessarily talking about.
Well, so the voice in Senua's head, the main one, mentions that the Northmen came. So it makes me think that the Northmen are the Vikings, but Senua, maybe she's a Celtic woman, so it's not necessarily that they share the same gods.
Right.
That's why she's fighting their gods.
Yeah.
Right.
And good on you, Senua. Pull a Kratos. Shit. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
What if Kratos is Dillion? She brings it back and he just fucking murders everybody.
Or Kratos' wife is Senua.
I didn't play God of War yet.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
For that half of the cutscene, I do want to compliment her acting, because what's happening in that scene is the camera's spinning around her, basically, and when it comes around, the tree's on fire.
Mhm.
She's staring up at it. The darkness starts talking to her, starts yelling at her, and then she looks at the camera because it's almost like we're looking at her from the perspective of the darkness, and she's yelling directly at the player. Like, you get to see all the emotion in her face as the camera's spinning around. You just feel for her, and I can't stress it enough that what they did here is a monumental achievement when it comes to expressing emotion through a pixelated character, because I've rarely seen it done like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, hats off, kudos. Just got to give it to them.
I hope they stick the landing on this. They haven't shown any reason that they wouldn't. I'm not usually one to get caught up in like stories for games. I'm usually more of a gameplay focus. This thing's got me hooked, dude. I want to keep playing. I'm completely feeling for Senua right now, and I want to see, and I hope that she, gets what she needs. Please, Senua. Sorry.
We have to make our way to the tree now. And the way to make our way to the tree, we have to run around the whole entire thing. Basically, there's a spiral path that leads up to the hole in the tree that we need to get to. On the way there are lore stones. And the reason why I want to talk about these lore stones is because they kind of shed some light as to what is inside of that tree. We learn about this hero, I'm going to put in quotes, this hero called Sigmund. And the tale of Sigmund is an interesting one. Starts off with Odin. He thrusts a sword into a tree, and only the righteous person could grab that. Sigmund is obviously someone who can grab that sword. Sigmund's brother-in-law, King Sigurd, wants the sword, but Sigmund doesn't let him have it. The king invites Sigmund and his brother to a feast, but when they get there, it's not a warm welcome. They greet him with an army. They capture Sigmund and his brothers, steal the sword, and gets them ready for execution. The king's wife turns out to be Sigmund's sister. She tries to get the king to let them go and just chain them up. He agrees to it, and that's only because he wants to do something more cruel to Sigmund and his brothers. Chains them to a tree in the forest, and that night, this she-wolf came and devoured one of Sigmund's brothers. She does that night after night until Sigmund is the only one left. The following day, Sigmund's sister sends a servant with honey to smear on Sigmund's face. When the she-wolf appears, she licks the honey from Sigmund's face. When the she-wolf does that, Sigmund bites the tongue. The wolf pulls away, but Sigmund holds on, and the chains break, so he's free. Sigmund escapes and then lives like humans and hides in the forest. The king thinks that he's dead, and Sigmund's sister now plots revenge. However, for the vengeance to succeed, Sigmund needs help. So she sends her sons to Sigmund to help him out, to help him get revenge. Sigmund sees that they are weak and have corrupted blood, so he kills the sons. The sister then says, all right, we need a new plan. I just love how she was like perfectly fine with the fact that Sigmund killed her sons. And she was like, all right, well, we better come up with a better plan then. One that's cold of heart and of pure blood.
It's Bay, dude. Brother above everyone.
Sigmund's sister trades shape with a sorceress, and in disguise, she sleeps with her brother.
Nice.
Gives birth to a son named Sinjoftli or something like that. I forget how you pronounce it. She sends her son to the forest to Sigmund. He tests the boy, agrees that he is strong and fearless, so they go to take their vengeance on the king, but they are captured, and then the king buries them alive. While they're being buried alive, Sigmund's sister throws an armful of straw into the grave mound, and hidden in this straw is Sigmund's sword, the gift from Odin. They cut their way out, set fire to the king's hall, and the king burns to death. Sigmund calls to his sister so that she can live. And she comes out, but only to tell him that she had slept with her brother, says, "I am not fit to live," walks back into the fire, and burns alive. Why did I tell that story to everybody? Well, one, it was definitely super interesting to learn about. But turns out the sword that we're going to grab from that tree. Oh, spoiler alert. There's a sword in the tree. It's Sigmund's sword. This is a sword that can kill gods. Senua makes it to the tree. She walks on inside. And there, right there in front of her, is the sword.
Take it. A sword. Take it. Dillion left it for you. Take it. Take it. Take it.
Imagine a sword that can slay gods.
Drew?
Its name is Gram. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gram by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the Tree of Death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard. Go to the shard. What's the shard? Find it.
There we go. Pete gets his wish.
Yep. The boy is back.
I was so happy. I was so happy when Drew started talking. Thought, oh, he's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Truth is back. Tell your friends. All
Tell
in
your
head.
voices.
We now have to grab that sword. We have to collect the shards of the sword. Gram, a sword that can slay gods.
Gods.
In the trials of Odin.
That's right. We have to complete 4 trials, baby. But we'll have to wait until next time to figure out how that works out, because we have reached the end of this episode section. Guys, we did it.
By order of Sigmund himself, the sword shall be mine.
What did you guys think of that last cutscene? And then just tell me what you thought about this section as a whole.
The section was very story building and very story driven. And honestly, I really liked that a lot. There was some combat, but it was very combat heavy focused, like the first part that we played from last episode. So taking a break from that and getting all this, all the lore, everything, and just learning more about Senua and her past and everything, it's awesome. It's great. And I can't wait to just get some more of this.
If I have to nitpick something in this game, the one thing I would say in this last section where you're going through this whole section, she's injured and she's running, she's kind of stumbling in times. Like, that was one thing that like annoyed me a little bit. I hate when you're forced to do animation stuff with your character. That's like typically when they're injured, they go maybe a little bit slower. But I think I try to look at this as a whole with the last section, trying to think like if you just played
I just gotta say,
So-
John, it's so against those parts.
I hate
Just
it, dude. I hate it. Don't
everything.
make me walk slower just because I'm fucking injured. Don't make me do it for a long time.
I'm
don't like
just gonna butt in real quick and say, if I had to nitpick something, it's that the flowers didn't move over to the side when you ran through them in the flashback
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah.
You clipped through them. That's my
It got-
nitpick.
It got really annoying when you're trying to take a picture and like there's like the perfect picture just ruined by this fucking stack of like flowers that wouldn't move at all and it just blocked her. So annoying. But again, very nitpicks. But I was this is a very like heavy story focused area compared to the beginning, which was I would say almost double the time
Mhm.
than this one. And that was almost completely combat heavy. So trying to think of it as like a whole, you know, they're introducing you to the mechanics, you know, you're getting into the story, and then this really is the part where it just punches it up and really gets you hooked into it story wise. So like I'm thinking, especially with the trials coming up, that we're going to be getting right back into some fighting, and it's going to hopefully kind of get intense. I mean, we've been introduced to a new enemy, so I'm hoping to see some new enemies, maybe some new puzzle type stuff. Like,
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming next. I think this is definitely the
Same.
calm before the storm, even though it was a fucking storm the entire time.
I'm like, where was the
I think it's gonna get much worse. That's the problem.
Very true. Very
Um,
true.
But yeah, I'm digging this game.
I agree with you guys. This section, right from the get-go, I mean, I started off a little slow because I did some backtracking to
Mhm.
grab the face collectible, if you could say. But when you get to that first cutscene, when you open the gate, you just know that you're in for a ride.
Mhm.
And guess what?
Shit has changed.
Brakes are broken because this thing is gonna just keep on going, whether you're ready for it or not.
Just going down the fucking hill, dude. We're good.
Again, I just have to say they do such a great job to get you invested in Senua. I mean, I am all for her. I haven't felt that way about a protagonist in a video game in some time. I mean, I can always go back and play old video games that I love, but new video games, you beat them and you move on.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't stay with you. This one, I'm feeling so far from what we played that this one's going to stick with me for a while. It might not have the most innovative gameplay out there. It might not have the most intricate puzzles, but in terms of story and characters, wow, they have definitely left their mark on me already.
100%. 100% agree with that.
I will agree as well.
I just like I'm so excited to play the next section, and I keep getting even more excited for knowing that the next game's coming out this year. And I keep thinking about how brutal it must be if you played this game when it first came out and the wait that you had to do for it.
2017,
or just not
baby.
even knowing that you'd have like another game. Like, oh, I'm just like, dude, I can't wait to beat this game. I might even play this game again.
That's what I was thinking too. Before
go
it,
through
like, really before it comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
And it'll probably be a different ride when you play it kind of like straight through as opposed to breaking it up in these sections like we're doing.
Yep. Or just like even knowing the story and noticing little things, you know, maybe like a second time through. But I'm digging it. It's cool.
Well, guys, you know that the trials are next, right?
Oh,
course.
yes.
So
Take me through.
that's what we have to play till. We have to complete all the trials.
Nice.
Finish
Okay.
the trials. That is your task for next episode.
That is your mission. Should you accept it?
Why are we talking about what part we are playing till? Well, that's because if you want to play the game with us, you can. You can hop on Game Pass or buy the game, and you can play to the section that we are playing till. If you want to discuss it with us, then join our Discord. You can go to the link that's in the description of the video down below or in the description of the listening platform that you are using. Join our Discord, talk with us, throw some comments in there. we will definitely give you a shout out. I do want to give a quick shout out to one person who left a comment on our video, because I never addressed this last episode. So let me do that right now. This is Lazarus Tomek. He mentioned that there may have been some audio issues with the last episode, that the audio was repeating at certain points. Guys, I never told you this, and I never played the audio for you. But after I beat Valraven, when Druth was talking, the audio, for some reason, I think my game just glitched out for a hot second. The end of the sentence or certain words would just repeat. So Druth would sit there saying, "We have to go to Helheim. And it was just super weird.
My God.
But
That's awesome.
I was like, maybe she's just crazy, because it never happened again. So it was just an issue with my game. I don't know what happened, but I still used the audio and threw it in there. It was just that one part. Weird. Don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Didn't happen again, and I just overlooked it and never thought to bring it up.
That's
if
awesome.
you guys leave a comment like that, you can get a shout out on our podcast. So feel free. I do want to let you know that if you can't afford the game, or if you don't want to play through it, or if you don't have the time to play through it, there is a solution. John, take it away.
Well, just like Pete said, you don't feel like playing it, or you don't have the game, come follow us on our Twitch channel, BLKWHT Gaming. We will stream the game, or the game section, each week, and you could watch us play, and you can see exactly our first impressions as we're playing it. And like I said, follow the story along with us. We'll definitely be doing it every week. So, and if you don't want to do that, guess what? We're going to take that VOD and upload it to YouTube. So that way, if you don't even feel like watching this live, you could go to our YouTube channel and then you can just watch that at your leisure. We make it easy for you people. You don't even have to play.
I do understand watching a long video whenever we upload this podcast. You might not have the time to sit down and watch the whole thing. There is a solution for that as well. Devon.
I thought you were going to say take it away. But you know what?
Take it away.
Hey.
Devon, take it away.
Hey,
Devon,
there it is.
Devon, take it away.
Hey, Devon, take it away. The voices in my head, sorry, they're speaking to me.
Take it away. He's taking it away. Why don't you take it away?
Take it away, Devon.
Why isn't he
Take it away now, Devon.
If you guys don't have time, well, really, if you don't have time to sit down and watch the video, if you're driving, you got to commute to work, you're doing dishes in your house, you just want something to listen to, you're working out, you're at the gym, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, we're on all your listening podcasts. Anywhere that you like to listen to us there. That's where we're at. We'll be there. We'll be there, or we'll be square. Like Peter said, we'll shout you out if you leave a comment, even on the listening platform of your choosing.
Also, if you think we're kind of cool, you can follow us on social media. You could also do that if you don't think we're cool. I mean, we'll appreciate it anyway. Yeah.
We'll take it.
Feel free to do that. You can follow us on Instagram or Twitter. BLKWHT Gaming. It's the same handle as our Twitch. Whatever you follow us on, leave a rating, follow, subscribe, comment. Whatever that one does, ring bells, all that jazz. Do the thing. Do the thing that the platform you're using wants you to do. We appreciate it. Whether it's a great rating or a poor one, let us know. We appreciate it. We want the feedback. If you want to reach out to us on a personal note, feel free. blkwhtgaming@gmail.com. That is it for this episode. I'm your host, Peter, with my friends Johnny Bag of Donuts, and the dark-skinned Deku.
Oh, smashing my way in, baby. That's me.
We are Black and White Gaming, and we will see you next time.